Let's talk about alcohol and how it affects your fitness and performance. Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm the personal trainer and running coach of Kathletics. Here at Kathletics, we're all about meeting you where you are in your fitness so you can approach hybrid training in a sustainable way. Alcohol is a touchy subject because it is very socially acceptable. You go to any restaurant, you go to any social gathering, and there's usually alcohol there. And now there's nothing wrong with having an occasional drink or drinking socially. It is important to understand that it does affect your fitness and your performance. I think it's important to note that alcohol is a class 1 carcinogen. That means it's pretty much poison to your body. This is going to be true regardless if you drink alcohol in moderation or in copious amounts. It is still a class 1 carcinogen. So keep that in mind while we go through the effects of alcohol on training. The first thing that I like to touch on when it comes to alcohol and training is how it affects your recovery. So, when it comes to recovery, we're considering things like your nutrition, your training volume management, your stress management, and your sleep. So, to go through each one of those, within your nutrition, yes, you can include alcohol into a well rounded diet. What might impede on that is that your hunger cues are then going to be missignaled. So, when you're drinking alcohol, you're probably not paying attention to your hunger cues as much as you would if you did not have alcohol in your system. And while that isn't inherently bad, it can include making different choices. So, eating more than you regularly would, maybe eating a different type of food than you usually would, things that may not benefit you from a nutrition standpoint. Drinking alcohol can also affect your hydration, so this plays into having the hangover the next day or feeling a bit more dehydrated. Now, for your training volume, this of course isn't going to necessarily be directly impacted by drinking alcohol, but muscle protein synthesis is affected if you go and work out and then you drink alcohol later in the day. So let's say you go work out and then later you meet up with friends for drinks. You could be impacting your ability to repair your muscle fibers, which help you gain muscle. Now, the study that was done with this did also show that this is regardless if you consume protein after your workout or if you don't consume protein after your workout. So it's still important to consume protein, but understand that it could still impact your ability to gain muscle. From a stress management standpoint, while I understand that alcohol can be used as a way to manage stress, it's actually doing quite the opposite for you. And lastly, the big one that comes down to sleep. So, sleep is a big part of recovery. And when you drink alcohol, this is interrupting your sleep. This is interrupting your sleep both in your sleep cycle as well as your ability to bring your heart rate down and have a regular heart rate variability, which both of these things are important to have under control if you are looking to recover and perform your best the next day. Now that we've covered the recovery piece, let's move on to performance. So the next day, you are trying to show up for a run, for a lift, some type of workout. Your performance is likely going to be at a lesser level due to the lack of recovery you've had from the previous day. Now, I can't speak for everybody, but it's unlikely that you're going to be hitting your PR or have your best performance after a day of drinking. Does that mean that your training is completely derailed? Absolutely not. One day of drinking here and there or having a night out with friends, I think is a really important thing to have in your life. Does that mean that you need to drink in copious amounts? Not necessarily, but you're an adult, you can make your own decisions. But again, I think it's important to understand how it can impact your training, how it can impact your fitness. And again, if you are doing this frequently, then it can have higher impacts on your overall health in the long run. If you found this video helpful, be sure to comment below and like, subscribe, and then we'll see you in the next one.